Alright, welcome to the channel, and today we'll be talking about these lovely DUNU Falcon Pro Ultras. These are actually pretty dope. I'm really digging the colorway on them and the really cool details in the little side here where it has a bunch of cool logos and their actual, DUNU written. Does it actually say DUNU on it? Yeah, it does. So, yeah, really cool details to them, and they're very shiny and pretty, and they're very blue. But these were sent out for demo by DUNU, so they are not asking me to say or do anything other than my honest opinion regarding these lovely little IEMs, the DUNU Falcon Pro Ultras. And I guess let's dive right into my thoughts regarding these little IEMs, these little blue IEMs. All right. Anyways, into the build and aesthetics of the Falcon Pro Ultra. Let's start with the cable, and the cable is pretty good. It's a little stiff, but not, nothing too crazy. I mean, definitely holds some shape there, but overall the quality is very nice. I really dig on the weave they have here. It has their pretty awesome, right angle plug-in that you can swap different heads with. You can just pop it right off, and then you can put on like a balanced 4.4 or a 2.5 or what other options they have available for it. Just make sure you line it up properly when you put it on. So you can snap it back on like that, and then you have a pretty cool modular system. Into the other part of this, the actual IEMs themselves, they are quite thin and very light. I really dig that. The material is a very shiny blue metal and very fingerprint prone. But overall, the build of these is, I mean, solid. There's nothing I can find wrong with them at all as far as build and aesthetics wise. I mean, these things are very pretty. They are, very blue. The sides of these have a really cool design around the edge here, which is the DUNU logo and DUNU name, like it says DUNU on it. It's real small, and it's just a nice little detail, a nice touch to the aesthetic that's really nice. I really dig on that a lot, actually, and it just kind of gives them a nice look. And overall, I'm very impressed with build and aesthetics for these IEMs, and they look good in the ear as well. Like they're thin, they're very low profile. You can kind of get an idea there if it will focus on it. But they sit in and they don't stick out very far. They're a nice profile to them, and they are actually extremely going into from build and aesthetics into comfort. The comfort of these, like when they're because they're so light and thin, like the design of these being so thin is that they pop right in, and it's amazing how I just kind of forgot they're there. The one problem I have, obviously, for my own personal, this is a personal thing, not necessarily a problem with the IEM, is that I have sensitive ears. So over time, my ears start to ache whenever I have IEMs in. But these did a really good job. I was actually able to listen for, hours at a time rather than, minutes or, dozens of minutes at a time. So take that for what it is. Yeah, so that's more or less the build and aesthetics and comfort for the DUNU Falcon Pro. It's, in my opinion, excellent. So I listened to a bunch of tracks with for the sound, kind of get my thoughts on the sound quality and what have you. Let's see here, going into that. So this too shall last by Anderson East, but this is actually the acoustic version, and I thought that was really lovely. Really good vocals, the guitar and what have you. Is just really lovely, and these kind of presented a theme for me in regards to the different tracks I was listening to, and I'm only going to list like probably a couple of tracks, and I'll put them down below in the description. Another track I was really enjoying with these is the it's a kind of a it's more of like a mix track, but it's by This One or This THES1ONE, and it's Where the uh, Peace Lock Ends. And the specific track that I was listening to was Brincid of Air, BRINCIDOFOVIR, and it's a take on Toto's Africa. And it was, I mean, really good. It's a really fun track. Uh, this is actually one I've been really digging on a lot lately, and it's Faker and Joy by the Hot Potato Band. They only have a couple tracks they ever put out, but that Faker and Joy Hot Potato Band track is Talk is Cheap. So Talk is Cheap is the one from the Hot Potato Band from the album or single Faker and Joy, or Faker Joy. Yeah. Anyways, and that one's a very also vocal, but it's more of a studio style with a lot of brass. I'm always been a big fan of brass tracks. Or that's a band also. But anyways, brass in the music. I've always enjoyed that sound signature, and that's a good one for that. These lovely Falcon Pro Ultras are for sound. It's it's weird. They don't. I had no problems with them. Like I had nothing like was a negative. Like I didn't have for me over the time listening with them, there was nothing that stood out as a bad thing or that even remotely came off. Like the highs were just really mellow and easy to get along with. I never had any peaks at all. Like it was almost like they were rolled off to some level or just smooth, like very smooth highs. Sorry, smooth is such a interesting way to describe something, right? But anyways, that's my take on it. They're very smooth. The mids were rich without being overly done, and then the lows. Probably, I guess, if I was to say anything, and it's more of an IEM problem, is the lows. While they were there and they were impactful to some level, they really just aren't. It's an IEM thing, right? That it can only push so much with an IEM, and some have been able to do it really well. And these do good, like they're very good, but they aren't like great, I guess, which isn't really a negative. Like they're just like the overall feeling I got from these was that I have no complaints, but on the flip of that is nothing really stood out either. Like there was nothing that was like, oh wow, this is amazing, except for the fact that they're really good. Like there was no complaints, no matter what track I threw at them. Even some of my more sibilant tracks to some of the super bassy or super mid forward, they kind of just went and it was great. Like there was no major problems. They just sounded good across the board, no matter what I threw at them. So, I mean, is this a recommendation for sound? I mean, based on sound, build quality, aesthetics, I mean, this is an easy recommendation. I think they're going for like between $200 to $300, I think too. So, I mean, if you want something that just does it all and you don't want to worry about it, having some tracks that might not go well with it, it is very detailed though. So take that into account if you're going to listen to some tracks. I did notice that it does pick up, like when you like sometimes tracks will put like they'll master it with like a weird like fuzz over the top of it, like, and it's more of a design language for the whoever mastered the track, not necessarily a problem with the IEMs. It's usually the tracks, and it will pick those details up. Like so if something's not mastered that great, it will pick it up, but it still sounds fine. Like you know that's the way that soundtrack or that track was mastered, or that was a sound design that they went for, right? So take that into account. Like so, like sometimes they do like the fake vinyl scratches and pops, or they'll do like digitize certain sounds into the track, and this will pick those up. And it's very detailed. It's very impressed with the detail, and the imaging is quite good. But overall, nothing like it's like was stood out. Like these are honestly like the jack of all, master of none kind of a IEM. I thought it was pretty good, especially for the price. Like these are, I'd say, really hard to beat up into certain other price points for sure, easily. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on the sound profile of the DUNU Falcon Pro Ultras. These are basically a jack of all, master of none, and they have no real downside to them, and but at the flip of that, there's just not much that would like that stood out from the other parts of it. Or like some things are known for their bass, or they're known for their treble or their mids or their imaging or detail. These just did everything really well and didn't have any problems. So, and honestly, that's probably what most people should want in their IMs. Anyways, those are, I guess that would be my final thoughts actually. So final thoughts: jack of all, master of none, but in that sense, they are the master of jack of all almost, right? So is this a recommendation for me? I would say, yeah, like if you want to not have to worry about, trebles, mids, or lows or highs or whatever, like you just want something that sounds good and you don't want to worry about it, it fits good, looks nice, it's, very clean, very pretty. DUNU Falcon Pro Ultra, and it's a pretty decent price too for the quality of sound you're getting for these, and it's, yeah, really good price. And you get a bunch of accessories with it and what have you. You get the classic DUNU case, and you get, a bunch of tips and what have you, which is fantastic. Do DUNU really does do really well with their packaging and their accessories and what you get for the money. Like they are actually honestly one of the ones to beat in that regard too. Like as far as like accessories and things that come with every IEM, they're probably actually the ones to beat. They're, more people should take notice of what they are providing when they're in their setups. So yeah, with that, I'll let everyone have the rest of their morning, afternoon, evening back. All right, cheers. Have a good one.